Hello,
Hello, Sonia. How are you?
I'm good.
Nice seeing your face.
Nice seeing yours too.
Okay, let's start right away. I have 666 questions for you. It won't take
Well,
long.
I'm sure. I'm not sure if we can get that done in the time, but I'll try my best.
Wait, hold on. We don't have 666 minutes? What are you talking about? Come on. I'm joking. Don't worry. Okay, let's start with the obvious one. How was Cobra Spell formed? I mean, you were in previous bands. What prompted you to form a new band?
So, um, sorry for the noise. I don't know if it's audible there,
I
but
cannot hear you.
COBRA SPELL was formed in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
and it was started as a side project. And yeah, it was just a passion band, and the band started growing and evolving, and so did the lineup. And right now we are all female formation. It's been almost 3 years that the band exists, and yeah, we're releasing our first album now. So the band has been evolutioning a lot in this time.
So, did you have in mind to have an all-female lineup?
Not from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
actually. The band was founded to start a childhood dream of mine that I had to start a 80s rock band that reminded me to those rock and roll heroes, shock rock heroes from the 70s, 80s. Think about Alice Cooper, Kiss, but
Was
also artists like Wasp, Rat, Whitesnake, very glam rock bands. And I wanted to bring back the sleaze, the over the top, stage performances that were back then. Something that in these days you don't see that much anymore, mostly because people are a little bit intimidated to do that. There's also some kind of misogynism going on with this style. In the 80s, were very male dominated. There was a certain energy going on where women had to be the groupies and men had to be the rock stars. And with Cobra Spell, right now I kind of want to change that up. We want to change those roles up. And the band become, for that reason, an all-female formation, because I felt with bands that I've been part of before, for example with Crypta, that as an all-female in an all-female formation, you have a lot of influence on in the younger generation of women. And I can relate that as a young girl getting into music, you don't have much role models. You don't see
Hmm.
many women around. And um, I wish I could have seen some kind of like female hero when I was little, because there is female role models like Doro, there is Vixen, but not in the shock rock glam
right.
style. And yeah, so that's kind of the direction where I'm going towards to with Cobra Spell. It didn't start like that because I didn't know that well the effect that it could have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a passion of mine to just play that music. I'm not doing it. I wasn't doing it for any other reason than just the love for the music. But I realized that I also have this influence, that I also have this power as someone that makes music to influence other people. And why not use this superpower that I can to help others.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what I try to do with the music also.
Although you have not been in this scene for a long, long time, do you feel that the metal scene has improved in that aspect? I mean, because as you said, and I know for the fact because I am way older than you, um, we didn't quite accept female bands. Although I love Doro, Leather, Vixen, Girl School, the scene was male dominated. Do you feel that this has changed or has started to change? It's been long overdue.
I mean, I haven't lived in the 80s,
True.
but I know that it has progressed.
Okay, that's good to
A
hear.
lot it's changing. It's changing a lot. There's every year I see more female musicians out there. There is a lot of new all-female bands arising, and I really like that. maybe from previous members like myself. Like I was part of certain bands and I split it and I created, you know, my own, you know what I mean? And I think that's great that many bands are starting and women are starting to work together. And I really like that. I like that that it's that we're that there is a growing line in this. Though there is a long way to go,
Oh,
because
yes.
at least in my experience, being part of Cobra Spell with the music that I make, which is, you know, a certain sleazy style that has lyrics about sex. It has lyrics about things that if you sing about that as a woman, you can get stares, you can get unsolicited comments when it's coming from a place of a passion for the shock rock.
Hmm.
And it's been done by musicians in the 80s that I look up to, and for them it's seen as a rock star thing to do. But if women do it, it's not taken seriously. Why? Why can't I be this rock and roll hero? And that's why I'm trying to do a bold statement with Cobra Spell. You know, this new album 666 has a funny edgy name, like, ooh, 666. It sounds very evil and edgy, but it's exactly for that reason. I'm trying to be extremely edgy and bold, so I can be like a very extreme example of how, as a woman, how you can be. And it might make people a little bit angry sometimes, and some people might get it, and that's exactly what I want to show that I want to extend the limits of my own freedom.
I hope that when you say angry, you mean only online. I mean, it's
Yes.
music. It's music. It's, I mean, anger in music doesn't have any room. I mean, no place, no place. So
Absolutely.
you said the band did not have this lineup. So how did the music, the songwriting change as the lineup changed, and you reached until 666, this record?
All right, so since the very beginning of the band, I've been the main composer of Cobra Spell's music.
Mm-hmm.
All of the guitar lines, drum lines, even the vocal lines are something that I compose.
Okay.
I recorded demos at home. I grabbed the microphone. I grabbed the synthesizer. I have a synthesizer right here. Um, and I just start composing. I love making music inspired by the 80s. And this is what, for me, the most beautiful thing is the composition. As for the lyrics, it's something that I'm a little bit less into. but
Okay.
but I've been learning about it. I've been learning, certainly in this new album. In the past, Cobra Spell's lyrics were done by a previous member, Sebastian,
Okay.
and certain songs I was doing myself. So some songs are written by me, and some songs were done by him, mainly him though. Um, in this new album, the lyrics have mainly been done by myself. It was a big challenge for me, challenge that I was up to take, certainly because of the changes that were going on in the lineup. I was kind of like, okay, let's do it. I can do it. Let's just try. Flaming Heart, for example, is a single that we released previous of the album 666. Is the lyrics that I wrote, and it was the first like real full song of lyrics that I wrote.
Okay.
I thought to myself, let's just do it. I was a little bit insecure about it, and it was so fun that I want to do it more and more and more. 600 to 66 is therefore the first. No, there's a lot of my songwriting on there, but in some songs there is some collaboration with Cristina Vega, which is the singer of Cobra Spell, and Noeli Dos Anjos, the guitar player within Cobra Spell. So there is some involvement definitely from the members. Um, yeah, and I'm hoping that in the next releases we can be more working as a formation. I'm excited about that.
So did you have all the music, all the songs ready before you signed with Napalm Records?
No, a part of it, I think it was like, it's funny because I had a lot of different songs
Mhm.
that were written in a previous era of Cobra Spell. I call it like an era because there were different members in there. And I had a lot of demos, and these demos reminded me too much of an old time of Cobra Spell. So I kind of like dismissed all those old demos
Okay.
and rewrote the whole album. Yeah.
So,
I can confirm I probably made like around demos probably more than 40 or something. I have a lot of
wow.
music. And from there I've chosen the ones that I like the most, and this is 666.
Oh, interesting. What about, you said the lyrics, and even though you said you felt a little bit insecure in the lyrics are not only about soaking people, right? You have a song like The Devil Inside of Me. That's not about the devil inside of me. It talks about something else, right?
Well, I want to mention I'm not insecure about what I created. I'm more of insecure in the beforehand into getting into it and doing,
Okay. Thank you for
damn,
correcting me. Thank you.
can I do this? And then just doing it, I felt like, wow, this is so fun.
Okay,
I am
good.
doing this. And I felt, and I'm very, very proud of the result.
Thank you for correcting this. Thank you.
Like in beforehand. The lyrics about the devil inside of me speak about indeed not literally having the devil inside of you. It speaks about, you know, a girl feeling coming from a religious family, a religious background with a religious education, and not feeling in place because of her beliefs, not being part of this of her families, and she feels like her family puts her aside, you know, and this feeling of being put aside and being told that she has to be like them, like the family, to be part of the family, and if she's not, she will be a nod. It's like being a black sheep, you know, a sheep in a certain situation. This song speaks about this experience, and the girl kind of rebels, and the way she expressed her rebellion is in doing certain activities that seem totally extreme in the eyes of the family, like, you know, and while she's just being herself, she's trying to discover herself and being herself, and it's in her freedom. It's part of your development as a human being to kind of discover what you're into. And certainly when you're coming from a very conservative background, it can be expressed in extreme ways.
Oh yes.
And the devil inside of me speaks about the experience of feeling the isolation from the family, from the loved ones, and that it hurts, but you keep on living that life because it's your life. You have to own your life as a person. You cannot fake it. I mean, you can do it, but then you're not living your true life. You're living whatever, you're surviving a situation that you have to get some kind of verification from your family and love. And yeah, that's what the devil inside of me speaks about.
Yeah, you just described most probably the majority of how people are growing up, because if you don't play by the rules, then you are considered an outcast, then you are being isolated. So yeah, unfortunately it's relevant. So you said that you had demos that you discarded and you start all over again. So how long did you actually work on 666?
I think the work of 666, I wasn't really aware I was working for it when I was already working for it, because for me, writing music is something that I enjoy doing, not for a deadline. I enjoy doing it whenever I want.
Okay.
So yeah, I am making songs, and sometimes I see, oh, this song would fit very nicely for this. This is kind of how the EPs were made in beforehand. It was a collection of 4 songs that fit well together. It's not just, I'm going to create an EP of 4 songs and picking up those 4 songs and using them. It was more of like, okay, those 4 songs are good enough to fit with each other. And the album probably was made, I think, 2 years, something like that. Some songs are older and some songs are super, super early. Like there's a song maybe that was written 3 months before getting in the studio. So that I wouldn't be I'm 100% sure about how about what I can say to that, but yeah.
So, did you write Love Crime late, or this was a song that you wrote earlier?
Late.
That I'm asking this because this particular song is not quite sleazy. It's more on the heavy side. You have some Judas Priest there. You have some Wasp again there. So it sounds like Cobra Spell are getting heavier in the same record.
Well, I had this little goal that in the next songs that I would release with Cobra Spell, I wanted to them to be faster.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to be better with what I do and try to develop my songwriting a little bit. Faster doesn't mean better, but I wanted to challenge myself in this case and see, can I do something a bit faster than Addicted to the Night, you know, that song. It was like a faster one, and I thought I want faster songs, more melodic, and Love Crime was kind of a tryout. Yeah.
It works.
Like an experiment.
So I have to ask for another one now. Love Equals Love.
Yes.
So this one, did you start with a riff or did you start with a keyboard melody? Because there is an almost 80s synth wave
Yeah.
atmosphere
The
there.
whole song started with this one. Yeah, with a synthesizer. Yeah. This song was fully composed as a synthesizer song at first.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what to do with it at the beginning. I thought, is this a Cobra Spell song or is it not? Because it's way too AOR, way too adult-oriented rock song. And I changed it. I completely changed my mind when we started writing the lyrics and I started adding electric guitars to the song. It changed the song completely because there is some electric guitars going on there besides the cleans. The song started becoming more rock,
Mm-hmm.
more a little bit heavier, and with the voice of Christina, it became a Cobra Spell song. And yeah, at the end, it ended up in the album. It shines out from the other ones because it's indeed different. It's more synthesizer oriented, as it started from the composition as a synthesizer song. Most of the songs start as a guitar, as guitar lines, so that's why there's the difference. And that's what makes Love Is Love sound like it is.
So in this one, there is saxophone. Was this sampled? Did you play the saxophone with the keyboards or do you have someone?
There is so much emotion in that saxophone. I wouldn't be able to replicate that. But it was a very spontaneous decision that myself and the producer took when we were at the recording studio. And I wanted at first to do a improvised guitar solo there, but I thought, no, I cannot do this. There has to be a very smooth 80s saxophone solo on there, and I cannot play the saxophone, and none of us in the band can play the saxophone. So I asked the producer, "Do you know anyone?" And he has a lot of fantastic contacts from the music schools out there in Madrid, and he called one of his friends, Nata Estevez, and he plays wonderful saxophone. He improvised the solo at the studio, and there it is. It sounded perfect for the part, much better than a guitar solo would sound on there, in my opinion. And it gives a lot of 80s music, like video, how do you say it? A movie track.
Mm-hmm.
Movie
Soundtrack.
like an epic movie soundtrack. And of course, the meaning behind the lyrics is very beautiful, in my opinion. It's about inclusion, about love in all colors and all gender and all inclusive. So I think it's very important for this time and in an 80s wrapped song.
It will be interesting to play this live, right? But you cannot have a a saxophonist play that live. But
yeah, I'm wondering how I'm gonna do that. I'm thinking about it.
What about the album cover, the artwork? I'm interested to hear what input did you give to create.
So yeah, to create the album cover, it's by Isabella Stabil, an Italian artist. She makes very nice 80s inspired artworks that resemble this paintbrush style. And I really like to have a cover that has this vibes, but combines it with the heavy metal, like um, very traditional heavy metal looking style. And I wanted this for the album of 666. The name is edgy, so the cover should be super edgy and rock and roll. And what is visualized in this cover is a woman in control, dominating a devil. And if that isn't the meaning of power, I mean, I wouldn't know. The album has to represent, the a woman in power, because this album speaks a lot about female empowerment. And she's like possessed by a cobra. The cobra is behind her, and that's for that reason I wanted to add that, because it's COBRA spell. It's the spell of the cobra. She's under the spell of the cobra, and therefore she's dominating the devil. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's I think some kind of rebellious cover.
So basically, this is the input that you gave Isabella, right? How you had envisioned the cover.
Yes. So what I told Isabella, together we decided on the whole band, we decided on this. We had different ideas, and this is the one that we finally concluded would be the one. Is a woman in control of the devil, like she is dominating the devil. She's under the spell of a cobra, and she is in hell. Her location is hell. So kind of like that. And it would have to look like orangey red, because I always like to choose a color for a certain album, a theme. And the theme of this album would be hell, red, orange. This kind of fire.
Yeah.
Something that in the past, in the EPs, it was always purple, pink, and golden. And I really like that aesthetic. Like that's the COBRA spell aesthetic. But I wanted to try something evil, because this is a rebellious album. It's an infernal album. And I had to go with those colors.
And then you mentioned the production. So who did the production and who did the mixing?
So the production was done by Alejandro Gabasa Barcoj. He's
Spain, right?
Yes, a producer in Madrid, Spain. Together with him, I have a very good bonding. I've worked with him in the previous EPs. So from the beginning of COBRA Spell, we have always worked together. He understands very well the sound that I want to reach. And we're always like super obsessed with the 80s. He understands the bands that I like, and it's cool to work with him. And he's super, super into the work. Like it's not someone that counts the hours, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's 9 o'clock and at 5 we have to stop and that's it. I'm not touching this. But it's someone you see that he's part of everything. He wants to be part of everything. He wants to make sure that the album becomes something that we all are proud of. And he's part of it. You know, he's part of it, such as every single member that has been part of this. He's like a member in this band for me. So as for the mixing, is done by Jens Bogren from Fascination Street Studios in Sweden. And then let me see, we have the mastering also in Fascination Street, and it's done by Tony Lindgren.
Okay.
So the team of Fascination Street has made sure that the tracks sounded as they sound.
So the album, if you look at the lineup, it's an international band, right?
Right now, it's very international, but we are mostly settled in Spain.
Okay.
So the only person living outside is Noeli. Noeli lives in Berlin. She's a Brazilian woman living in Berlin.
Okay.
The rest of us have, two of us have Spanish nationality. I have the Spanish and the Dutch nationality, and Roxy has Venezuelan nationality. So we are indeed super international, but we are luckily settled in the same country.
And this is why you have a set of dates, live dates next year in Spain, correct?
Yes, that makes us very easy for us to travel around. But doesn't mean that we're just gonna do that. We are planning on more than
That
just
was my next question. So go ahead. What are you thinking about the next touring plans?
So right now we are working with our booking agent a lot in trying to get some shows around Europe and, you know, securing a European tour. I cannot talk too much about it because we're still working on this, but we're definitely gonna hit the stages with new songs over there. It would be amazing if we can get out of Europe too and can reach some other continents, but right now we are very focused in Europe, and that's what we're working on right now, and hopefully a lot of summer festivals for next year.
Yeah, it will be cool to see COBRA SPELL crossing the Atlantic, right?
Yeah, it would be amazing.
You have released 2 music videos. Do you have more coming, or that's it?
We have more coming. So right now we released SEX. We have released The Devil Inside of Me, and we have our 3rd music video coming out on the 29th of November, which is coming very, very close. That's a day before the release of the album. And the music video is gonna be Warrior from Hell.
Oh, thank you for...
You're the first one.
Thank you for breaking the news. Thank you very much for your time. I have, if I forgot to ask something, please feel free to add it. I love the new album. It's interesting that you are young, but you still have you have captured the 80s sound. That's very interesting for me.
Well, I want to what I want to mention is firstly thanks for giving us a platform to promote our album. And the album is pre-orderable on Napalm Records here in Europe, and in the United States people can order it through the USA section. We're releasing it also in Japan and in Russia. Further on, the album is will be available on all major streaming platforms. So that's the cool stuff. For merchandise, we have very cool t-shirts and exclusive stuff on our own Cobra Spell web shop, which is shop.cobraspell.com. And it's the best way to support the band is by supporting us by getting our merchandise and pre-ordering the vinyls and all
you
of that
ship internationally?
Yes, we're releasing it in different continents. It's awesome.
No, I'm talking about from the side. Can people from the States order stuff and you will send them? Or we have to follow other?
So there is a Napalm Records in the United States.
Yes.
And they have a separate release, separate order website. Then the Napalm Records in Europe, which ships over Europe. And then we have in Japan, which has different, it's one release in Japan, but they are distributing different stores. And we have in Russia special.
But for the merch, for example, you are about to release the Accelerate t-shirt.
Yes, for the merchandise, we are shipping it from here worldwide.
Okay,
so everything comes from right where I'm here right now. And we are shipping everywhere else. So to the United States, everywhere. It might take a little bit longer, but
it will get there.
It still ships.
Are you planning to re-release the previous ones that you independently released? Some of them got on vinyl, but are you planning to re-release through Napalm?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the old material, especially because I wanna, focus now on the new album and focus on the work that Christina is on. And
makes sense.
And look forward. I'm more into like making new music and working on new stuff.
I'm sure you have already some songs for the next one.
I know a lot of people like love the Love Venom and Anthems of the Night stuff, and of course maybe there's gonna be some kind of re-release, but at the moment it's not for free. It's very expensive to make an independent re-release because these EPs are independent work. They're not with there's this stuff that I would have to release myself and I would have to finance myself. So it's stuff that is expensive, but if I see the occasion to do so, definitely.
Thank you very much again. Have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.